morning. It's Friday, December 30th, but we are not actually here today. We have recorded this introduction to one of our very favorite episodes of the Morning Medical Update for you to enjoy while we are spending time at home with our families. So we all know we love pets. We treat them like family. I told you I adopted 2 dogs during the pandemic.
I want to know why you keep looking at me when you say adopted dogs. Are you implying that I look like a dog?
We're looking for a third. Okay, let me know.
Thank you.
Of course we love our pets, but did you know that dogs have a role in the patient health here at the health system as well?
That kind of sounds odd that dogs have a role in patient health, but it's true. Back in September, we showed you how our pet therapy program works. Research shows visits from these specially trained dogs help lift spirits and lower blood pressure. Even helps some people overcome the loneliness they can feel in a hospital. You need help with your blood pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to carry a puppy around with me in my lab coat if it helps lower my blood pressure. Well, this was a really fun episode which explored how the program works and how these special dogs are trained.
We'll be back live here next Wednesday, January 4th, with all new episodes of the Morning Medical Update. In the meantime, please stay safe when you're out partying and hanging with friends tomorrow night. Happy New Year.
Bark, bark.
It's Thursday, September 8th. I'm Jessica Lovell. Today on the Morning Medical Update, 9 out of 10 nurses surveyed by the Royal College of Nursing say that these furry friends are just as good or even better than any traditional medicine for treatments. We've got Dr. Hawkinson joining us this morning with the latest COVID-19 count. And imagine your loved one falling to the ground while you're on the phone with them. That's what happened to one Kansas City couple. Turns out he suffered a stroke. We'll have a preview of that story in this morning's All Things Heart. Thank you for joining us here. Thank you for joining us here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. We are live inside the Dolph C. Simons Jr. Family Broadcast Studio. Research shows pet therapy helps lift spirits and lower blood pressure when used on some patients. So for adults and kids, it can provide a comforting source of healing. And that is exactly what is happening up on the pediatric floor here at the health system, where Alan Van Zant is standing by with his new friend, Cinnabon, Cinny for short, who is hard at work this morning with her human pet therapist. Walt Davis is up there as well. We're going to check in with them. In studio, we have therapy dog Camus, pet therapist Amy Wurst, and Chloe Abenis is also with us. She is the administrative project coordinator with Volunteer Services. So welcome to all of you, especially the furry experts this morning. So Camus is doing very well today. So you're going to take over the studio and do what we are on your time this morning for sure. So as always, we love getting your questions. So get them sent in to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and the Medical News Network. You can find links to those right here on your screen. Well, for many people, the idea of therapy dogs, we think of a friendly dog kind of roaming around from room to room at a hospital, bringing joy to hospital patients. Therapy dogs that work in hospitals, though, provide what is known as actual animal-assisted therapy or animal-assisted activity. So, Amy, you know I love hanging with my dog is actual therapy itself for me, but talk to me exactly what animal-assisted activities are that are specific for pets.
Well, with pet therapy, it just depends on what the audience is that we're visiting. If it's a kiddo in bed, we get up and do some snuggles. If we're working with a therapist, we might be doing some activities like throwing a ball or working on fine motor skills or something that's going to help that patient proceed in their therapy.
So what makes a good therapy dog? Why is this big guy right here so good at his job? What makes him, I'm sure the training is intense for both of you actually, right?
Well, you would think so, but the training's just basic.
Really?
Obedience training, they have to be able to follow commands. But it's mostly just, do they have a great temperament? And he's got a lovely temperament. He loves hanging out with people. He loves snuggling. And he's just very sweet.
He really is.
I know.
He's
just
pretty
chilling out.
I said this is a first for us. We've had some dogs. I think we had this one time that we went out and there was a dog out of the studio. So Camus is the first canine expert we've had here in the studio. So
look at that.
This is exciting. You're doing really, really good. So Chloe, how long has the pet therapy program been here, and kind of what started it? What brought this about?
Yeah, so it's been around for about 10 years now, which I think might surprise some people. But I think that, people can come in and have extra long stays. And so just having something that can kind of take their mind off of, what they're going through. And, when you see a dog, you just smile.
You do. It's hard to, like I said, it's that all natural healing that I think we get from our pets every day. I can't imagine how well it works for somebody just in a kind of a sterile environment in a hospital or maybe away from their family. We're going to head up to pediatrics here in just a moment, back up there with Alan. But besides children, what and how do other patients benefit from pets and animal therapy from dogs like Cindy or Camus?
So we also have dogs that visit Strawberry Hill and Marillac campuses, and then in the past neurology and rehab. And so it's not a specific age. Any individual from any age demographic can really see why a dog can really help them.
And you mentioned Strawberry Hill and Marillac, which helps with mental health. So tell us a little bit more about that and what the difference is when you're at a campus like Strawberry Hill or Marillac or here with someone lying in bed.
Well, we actually do visit in Strawberry Hill, and he loves that environment because he just gets to hang out, and it's a different person every visit. We get to meet new people, and he really enjoys just hanging out with those guys. With kids, it's a little more hands-on. We don't go to Marillac, but we visit some other children's hospitals, and he just likes getting in bed.
Well, yeah, and being rubbed by people all the time. I like that. So sometimes is it verbal interaction maybe with the adults? Is it just petting? Is it snuggling? Is it just quiet time? Maybe take us into maybe a pet therapy session. What would it feel like?
Well, it varies. A lot of times, sometimes people are afraid of the dog, but they just want to watch him. And if somebody's had a bad experience, these dogs are really good because they're very calm. They've been through a program, they've been registered, they're tested, they're safe in the environment. So it's not a concern that anything will go wrong in a visit. A lot of times they'll just want to pet him. And sometimes we'll do a few tricks and get interactive. It just depends.
Again, it's that simplicity of an animal being around. Chloe, what has been kind of the feedback and some experiences that you've seen, when you travel around and do your rounds with the pets?
Yeah, I mean, when an animal leaves the room, you can just tell that smile lasts on the patient's face. I mean, it's a complete just uplifting moment for them. Also, sometimes their tears shed because they've missed their dogs at home. They, they like to tell their stories of their dogs, and so it's just that piece of maybe what they're missing from home that can come into their room and make it feel a little bit more homey.
Well, you mentioned the lasting smile. That is a study published in the scientific journal PLOS ONE. It documented that anxiety and pain relief for patients in the ER department who received just a 10-minute visit from a dog, it showed that those effects lasted up to 20 minutes. So there's actual scientific research that shows that these animals have that prolonged effect. You've noticed that, right, Amy?
We have noticed that. And a lot of times it's also the family members who are there with the patient hanging out. And it brings just a whole different a respite to their day. Just something different.
I would imagine it just kind of, like you said, it kind of sets things in a different motion.
Yeah.
It's a very high anxiety, high stress place, a lot of unknowns, and just to have that calming presence of a dog that knows no bounds and it can bring that vibe to a patient's room. Do we only use dogs here? And why do we just hear of dogs in pet therapies? Where are the rabbits and where are the cats?
We only use dogs, and that is a policy. But I also think when you think of a dog, you think of a very welcoming animal, someone like Camus that will just lay and snuggle with you. And not saying that other animals don't, that really does stem from our policy.
We're going to get some cat people all riled up.
I know.
But I think you're right. A dog and a cat, but a dog makes you feel like home. There's a home sense, a human connection, I think, that dogs bring. I want to head up to pediatrics because I have a question for Walt. Well, good morning to you. What kind of reaction does Cindy get up there on the pediatric floor? I would imagine she's very popular.
Oh yeah, she's popular. When I first walk through the door, I usually do woof woof, and the staff looks up and they all smile, and then I go into the volunteer coordinator room and we get together and we go out and we make the kids happy. Go visit. They pre-selected them, so we go out and make those kids happy.
I love that. I was going to ask you.
She does a great job.
I was going to ask you how you prep, and you said woof woof. That doesn't sound that difficult. It seems pretty simple. When you walk in, the smiles are already there and things are already set into motion, right?
Well, sometimes it's sort of like going into a game. I come in here and Andrea and Liz, who work here in the coordinator's office, they warm her up. So she gets warmed up and she gets all excited and everything like that. And she can't wait to go out there. And then when she's all warmed up, we go out and we visit the kids. So it works like a charm.
Yeah, it's like pregame. Pregame for the dogs, pregame for Cindy.
That's right,
Getting her
it's a pregame
stretched out
warm-up.
and in the right mode. Alan, you look right at home up there. I know you've got your little pup at home, and you're a true dog guy. Just what's going on? What are you learning up there, Alan?
Well, Jess, good morning to you, and good morning to everyone else out there. First of all, we've been here in the pediatrics wing about an hour or so. Things were getting started in the morning. The staff was moving around. The patients were moving around a little bit. And then Walt showed up with Cindy, and things changed in a hurry. We're wearing masks, but you could hear the smile behind people's faces as Walt and Cindy got here. And I'm here with Mila now. Mila's a patient here at the University of Kansas Health System. She's been here about a week. And first of all, I hope you're feeling good and you get better.
Thank you.
Now, it sounds like you're going to leave on Monday, is what the doctors are telling you. But before, what do you think of the visit by Cindy today?
Really happy she's here.
Makes you feel good? Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's part of the important part of pet therapy is helping the patients get through their time while they're here as best they can while they're recovering, and then send you home with a smile. How about that? Now, Walt, I'm going to bring you in here. As Jess mentioned, I have a dog. I've got Bear. He's about 3 years old. He's a Beagle Pug mix. And as I've been talking to you, I've been getting more interested in pet therapy, maybe for Bear and being a pet therapy dog. What do you suggest to owners of dogs that might be thinking that?
Well, what I would say is that if you're interested in something like that, you know, your dog has to have the proper disposition. And if they're calm and they don't bite, and they don't do a lot of licking and stuff like that around people, then and they get along very well and have good interactions and make people feel good, you know this, you learn it over time, then I'd say inquire, because there's different organizations you can get online and check and see what their requirements are. But you just don't show up at the hospital door and say, "Hi, I'm Walt with Cindy, and I'm here to do therapy dog visits," because the door will slam in your face abruptly. You know, you have to go through the steps and make it happen.
I guess tell us about Cindy, first of all. What kind of dog is she? How old is she?
Cinnabon is a little Chihuahua mix. She's majority part Chihuahua, and then Toy Poodle and Pomeranian. She's 8 years old, and she weighs about 8 pounds. So she's a perfect little lap dog. She sits right on people. And you can see right here on the patient, you know, she likes to roll up and curl up and cuddle.
So how did you make the decision to have Cindy become a pet therapy dog?
Well, she's also an agility champion, believe it or not. She's got 14 first place blue ribbons in 7 different competitions. And so consequently, we were at agility training, and she goes around and greets all the people, and they would say, "Oh, she's such a cute little dog. She's so sweet. So you ought to think about making her a therapy dog." And I did, light bulb went on, inquired online, and then that started the process, and here we are today.
So it takes a certain kind of dog to become a pet therapy dog. What makes Cindy so special?
Well, she is an empathetic little dog. You know, she gets on a person's lap and she can pick up their vibes, so to speak. And she's also non-judgmental, so she doesn't care about who you are or what you are or anything. If you act a little bit interested, she just gets all excited and comes up to you and starts to love on you. You know, so she's very, very good at that.
Is she this calm when she's at home?
Not always. You know, she's from one end of the spectrum to the other, you know, so she can be very excited. She has a big sister Chihuahua mix that she likes to play with, so sometimes she's very excited around her. But she'll get on my lap and she'll watch a full ball game, you know. So.
Well, some might say, well, it's early in the morning and maybe she's just dozing a little bit, sleeping a little late, but is this how she acts when she's around patients all the time?
Pretty much so. She cuddles a little bit, she moves around, and you can tell she's found a nice lap. So when she finds a nice lap, she'll settle in, and I call it an excellent lap, is a nap lap. So.
Well, it's hard work if you can get it. So Cindy is working right now. You're working with Cindy now. She's here with Mila here. What does Cindy do when she wants to play?
When she wants to play, it's different times. I mean, sometimes when we're out on walks, she loves to chase squirrels. You know, squirrels are almost as big as she is, and if you know what a squirrel's like, you don't want her to catch a squirrel. You know, it's not a good idea. But she is really good at treeing them, and she loves it. She looks up at him and says, I got you this time, you know, that type of thing. So when we play, I've got a squeaky toy squirrel. So the game is called Get Squirrel. And so I'll have it climb my leg, and she's snapping at it and stuff like that. You know, totally not like her at all. And when she gets it, I play tug with her then. And then after that, I give her a treat, and we start all over again.
Well, so calm, so docile, and
she just looks that way.
All right, she's a tiger at heart.
But remember, she's an agility champion, so she's got lots of giddy up and go when you ring that buzzer or ring that bell.
Well, maybe we'll see some moves later. Walt, thank you. Mila, thank you as well. You're working. We'll let you get back to work. And I'd say I got some pretty good duty today coming down here with you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks to both of you. Let's head back to the studio with Jess.
Thanks, Alan. You said calm, well-behaved dogs. Already my dogs are out. There's no way they could be a good therapy dog. So I want to, before Camus needs to stretch his legs, is that what he's kind of antsing
He's getting
around?
a little antsy.
Antsy. I have to say, John Holt from Fox 4 was sitting over there earlier this week in here, and now Camus is sitting in that spot. So I'm getting a little worried. So I got some good competition. So I'm gonna. I just wanted everybody to be able to see Camus one more time. Amy, Camus is your dog. How long have you had?
He was
her?
dumped at a shelter when he was 6 months old, and I happened to find him, and he found me, and we fell in love, and he came home with me, and he was rotten for the first year.
Yep.
And we worked very hard on obedience and other things that make him a good dog, and learning what's acceptable and what's not. And
Is he your only dog?
no, I have a 3-year-old collie as well who's also doing therapy work.
Oh, really? Okay. So you said that year kind of rotten. I have a couple rotten dogs myself. So how long though did it take to get Camus to be this well behaved? I need some tips, please.
It took until he was about 2. And then, like, the big boy brain kicks in right about then. And
Yeah.
again, a lot of work, a lot of obedience work.
Yeah.
And just being consistent. And
Well, he's beautiful.
He's a good boy.
Thanks for showing off the whole bod there.
I know.
We were wondering what was hidden down there behind the desk. So, well, like I said, Camus, you're welcome to sit here with us as long as you can stand us. But if you need to roam the studio, feel free to do so.
Yeah, we might do that.
Okay, well, good. Well, while he's doing that, we're going to check in with Dr. Dana Hawkinson, Medical Director of Infection Prevention and Control. You don't have dogs.
Yeah, my daughter has a dog.
I know.
It's basically like a live stuffed animal, and
I've been
it's
bugging
really
you. I keep telling you got to get a dog. You're like, no.
It's well trained and would be a great therapy dog. But the little dog in there, while it's chasing squirrels, better keep its eye out above for owls. Too,
Yeah, true, right? Yeah, he's a little guy,
It's been known to happen.
All right, let's get to some COVID numbers. Any
Yeah,
changed
you know,
news?
unfortunately, our active COVID count has gone up. I'm kind of trying to investigate that a little bit. 23 active infections today, 5 in the ICU, 2 on the ventilator, 16 in that recovery period as well. But overall, again, nationally, we are seeing very good trends, decreasing in notifiable cases as well as hospitalizations. So,
Monkeypox, any changes there?
You know, we're still seeing a little bit of an increase in the case count, but overall, that trend has continued to slow down, which is a very good thing. 21,000 cases in the United States. Kansas 7, Missouri 61. Was looking at a graph on the CDC today. Kansas is very, very far on the low end as far as numbers since the original case was identified in the state. So that's good. Overall, we've given about 160 doses of Jynneos vaccine as well. And again, still really trying to get that information out to those highest at high risk populations and get everyone protected.
All right, thank you for that update. As you know, we get several community questions throughout the week, COVID questions that we unfortunately don't get to because we have some of these great topics. So I want to get to a few this morning with you. Jean wants to know your thoughts about that study in the UK that finds about 3% of the population is self-reporting long COVID, and one of those more serious symptoms is brain fog. What could you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we still are looking to try and really identify and get objective criteria for long COVID. I think that's important. We do know that long COVID does affect a lot of people. We know that it is likely, or is right now, a health crisis, if you will. We know that so many people are affected by that. And I think, our health system is a testament to that, as well, as we did have that long haul clinic. That was a virtual clinic where it was expedited to get you to those specialists that you need, such as the neurologist for brain fog, the pulmonologist for shortness of breath and continued cough, the physical medicine and rehab, and the internal medicine doctors. We had to stop that because the demand was so high. So we know that does continue to happen. We absolutely still are seeing those patients, but it is just on our regular basis of our clinics, and we'll definitely get you to those specialists that you need to be seen by. But again, I think that just goes back to saying that it is a crisis. It will continue to be moving forward, just like diabetes and heart disease. And we need to do everything we can, number one, to prevent it, which we know vaccines do help prevent it, but also get you to that recovery as well.
Catherine asks, are they going to combine a flu and COVID shot? Mm-hmm. Are they? And if so, when could that be?
I think we anticipate that they will. Certainly we know the experiments are going on, especially with the mRNA platform. As of yet, there is no formulation, no authorization for any vaccine like that, but that is being looked at.
And good question from Isaac. Why are the new vaccines being used only for boosters and not that initial primary series of vaccinations?
Yeah, I don't have a full answer for you, but what we do know is if we go back to those original vaccines, we know that when you had at least 3 doses, as you were an adult, obviously for younger children, you need those 3 doses as a primary series for one of the vaccine companies. But when you have those original Wuhan isolate or ancestral spikes, we know that you do develop very good immunity to SARS-CoV-2 because of the spike that you get, but also that evolution that takes place in your immune system during those times between your doses or infections. So again, right now we know that they continue to work well. We are using that data still. Now, moving forward, will that change? There certainly is that possibility, but as of right now, the original monovalent or 1 spike vaccine is being used for primary series, and the bivalent or 2 spike vaccine is being used for that updated booster.
Do we have any reporter questions on the line today? All right, let's get to our community then. A few for you, Dr. Hawkinson, but I am going to start with our guests. Let's get back to those cute dogs and get some of those going here. Several questions about the Isaac. Okay, let's get to your question this morning. In the setting of a medical environment like a clinic or hospital, I could see the potential issue of a dog causing contamination. What do you do to mitigate that? Is that an issue?
Well, of course, infection control weighs in on what our policies and procedures are. The dog has to be clean. He gets a wipe down before we come into any hospital environment. They have to be up on their shots, current with all their vaccinations.
Has to be Dr. Hawkinson approved.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And then we sanitize hands before and after petting with the dog, so that anybody who's touching them is sanitized before it goes on to the next person.
Georgianne has kind of a similar question. What about finding out if people have any sort of allergic reactions to pet hair?
Well, we first of all, you ask permission before you have anybody spend any time with the animal. And if somebody's not interested or they're worried about an allergy, we'll just wave from the doorway or just not get close to them.
Dr. Hawkinson?
Yeah, just to echo what she said, I would like to point out we do have a robust program in our infection prevention and control division that does look at all that and does go to national standards. So we do identify that, and we do make sure that all the proper precautions are taken.
And in so many cases, they're necessary, right,
Yeah.
to get our patients doing well. Joellen wants to know, and I think we've kind of touched on this, but are there actual good hormones that are released in these kinds of situations with, humans and dogs, and, endorphins that we get when we exercise, and just kind of those warm fuzzies that we get? Is that a real thing?
Well, I do know that there have been studies about reduced cortisol levels in an individual, which is a stress-related hormone. And so they've done a lot of research. I mean, dogs can help with that loneliness piece that some people feel. People just want to have that companionship bit, and dogs can really bring that to a person.
Amy, Yen Liang has a question, but you answered it earlier, but just in case you missed it, could you let him know? But should pets used for pet therapies, do they need special training? You say it's a very minimal training.
Well, to me, it's not special. It's good manners. Your animal has to have really good manners, and the other parts that make a good therapy dog are just a good temperament.
I'm sending my kids to your house for the weekend. Do you mind if I do that?
No, not at all.
You'll thank me later, I promise. Question for you, Dr. Hawkinson. Susan was last boosted in January in their 70s. Should we get our booster now or wait till it's farther into fall, like October, so we have really good protection for the holidays? We get that question a lot.
Yeah.
Let's hit it.
Yeah, I mean, I think in January, so now we are 9 months out. We know that those people that are higher risk, which in this case we'll define as higher age, and certainly, you know, being 70 or older, would certainly qualify that as well as other medical conditions. I think being 9 months out, you know, you're a little bit past that. Really, a lot of the data have shown that if you're 6 months or more out, you may be at higher risk. We remember those were some of the old recommendations had to do with some of that data set as well. So I think it's reasonable to go ahead and get that now. You will still have very good protection, even against infection a little bit, minimally, for the first 2 to 3 months as well. And you should still continue to have quite a bit of protection in through the holiday season, even if you get it now. Like I said, here at the health system, we're expecting our first shipment on September 14th. So even if you get it around that time or just a little bit later.
All right, you'll be happy to know. Isaac says, good morning, got his booster yesterday, but he's up and that arm is hurting. What can he do?
Try to work out the arm. If you can do any motion or stretching exercises, that will help. But also, if you need to take a couple doses of Tylenol or ibuprofen, if you otherwise can take those drugs without any medical complications, go ahead and take that for a little bit of the pain.
I have a question. Alan, I wanted to ask Walt a question.
Eloquent.
Alan,
Sure.
I know
Sure,
you
Walt,
guys
we've
are
got a
chatting.
question for
You
you
guys
here.
are doing your dog talk, but a quick question for Walt. Kevin wants to know, are therapy pets and service animals the same?
Well, I can give you more or less the common man's answer is that no, they're not, because the therapy dog is like got a little sign built on them saying, pet me, you know, I'm here to make you happy and that type of stuff. The service dog is a dog that's been specially trained to meet some need of the person that they belong to. And service dogs, sometimes they go through special training for up to 6 months to a year, and they can learn as many as 80 or more different commands, you know, to help, like go get this or answer the door or whatever, you know. And with Cinnabon, she only has to do the basic obedience commands, you know, like the critical ones are like sit, stay, and leave it. And also just have that temperament that Amy mentioned, you know, the proper temperament to get along with people and make them feel good, you know, inside, because she acts excited when she's around people and she's on a lap, and she just generally gives that good feeling that releases the endorphins and makes them feel really good.
Alan, are your
Hope that answered your
endorphins
question.
released?
I
Alan?
am as released and relaxed as I could be here. You bet.
I know,
Now,
you're
a
just
question
chilling.
for Walt here also. I'm just so perfect way to start out the day, let me tell you. Now, Walt, just following up on that question, with service dogs, they're actually performing a function while they're out, and people are told not to pet them, aren't they?
That's correct. You know, you're not supposed to pet a service dog. So sometimes people who know the differences, they say, can I pet her? You know, which is one who is asking, or they say, is she a service dog or is she a therapy dog? That's not as common because they don't know the differentiation between the two, but they quite often say, is she a service dog? And I'll encourage them to say, sure, you can pet her, you know, that type of thing.
That's what she's here for, isn't she? And she's got her ID to prove it.
Absolutely. People get a big smile on their face. They start petting her and they love on her, and she gets excited and she gives them a big doggy smile, and everybody's happy. That's what it's all about.
Jess, you're missing out down here.
I know.
You can come
she's
on
kind of
over and
soothing
pet.
me. She's releasing my endorphins as well and making me feel relaxed. I'm loving this. Amy, again, it sounds like it comes back to the training. We need them to have good manners.
Good manners.
But with the service dogs, they're going much deeper into training.
Right.
Are therapy dogs, again, just going back because somebody asked a question about, are therapy dogs the ones that go on planes with people and travel around, or can but only a service dog for a specific supposed to be? Supposedly, right? And Devin had another question, last question I want to ask our guests, and we mentioned Marillac and Strawberry Hill and helping those that are suffering maybe from some mental health issues and seeking help. But does it help with autism, dementia? We had a guest on earlier this week, a young boy who had a stroke, and he now has a dog that is with him. So helping through all of these other issues, can you just tell us a little bit more about that and how much it spans?
I think to the extent of autism specifically, sometimes individuals with autism struggle with that relationship building aspect of it, and a dog can be less frightening to some than maybe a human, and so
isn't that the truth?
yeah, so I think that definitely aids in an individual with autism. Like Camus, he just wants to cuddle, and sometimes that's what an individual that's maybe overstimulated needs.
All right, let's get to some final thoughts. This is so fun today. Amy, let's just start with you. And I have to say, if you're wondering where Camus is, sleeping right down here, totally like sacked out.
Taking a nap.
Taking a nap. I guess we overworked him. Amy, just final thoughts. What do you want us to know just about the importance of that connection, that animal connection?
I just think for people who have always said, hey, my dog would make a great therapy dog, try it. Get involved. There are a couple organizations in Kansas City, Pets for Life and Pet Partners, both. I'm involved with Pet Partners, and you go through a training process and learn how to work with your dog and people.
And Chloe, just your final thoughts, and what should people know about if they wanted to bring their trained official therapy dog with the badge and all here to the health system?
Yeah, so we do partner with Pet Partners and Pets for Life. Those are two organizations. So get involved with them. We have a partnership where they can be certified through them, but we wouldn't be able to do it without the pet therapists and the dogs. And so we are just so incredibly grateful to all of our volunteers that participate in our program. And we really hope to continue to grow the program in the years to come, just to make sure that we can offer it to as many patients as possible.
And could any dog make a good pet therapist? Really?
There's any dog.
Yep.
We see all kinds.
Yeah, we have Cindy, who's small, we have Camus, who's big, we have a bulldog.
Everything in between, right?
I mean, yes, it doesn't matter. Good manners and temperament.
That's right.
Let's head back out to Alan and Walt, get some final thoughts. Just, guys, what would you like us to know today?
Well, I think Mila here has had an enjoyable last half hour or so here with Sam. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, now she's got some work to do yet this morning. I think she's going to take a whole tour of the pediatrics wing here and see all the other kids who are here as well. So get better and get out of the hospital and enjoy the rest of your time with Cindy here. And Walt, thank you as well so much for being here. We learned a lot today, as well as had some fun.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're glad to be here. This is what it's all about. We want to try to make people happy. Transport them to a different place for about 10 to 20 minutes or something like that, because in the hospital to get poked and prodded and woke up at all hours of the night and everything like that, it's generally unpleasant. Sometimes a little doggy like this coming in and sitting on their lap and loving them unconditionally transports them to that place, and they can be happy for a little bit. That's what it's all about.
That makes sense.
Perfect words to wrap it up from here. Thank you again, Walt.
You're welcome.
Thank you, all four of you. Thank you so much this morning. Dr. Hawkinson, final thoughts. Yeah, I'm sorry, I mean, you got a heart. I mean, dogs, Hawk.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, it was a cute show today.
It was, thankful for those services. Again, I think it's true. Being in the hospital is no fun. Again, always been thankful that I'm able to go home, and we really have to work towards making their experience, the patient's experience here in the hospital, as best as we can. And I think that is one step to be able to do that. So.
You're cuddly and lovable too. Sometimes. Helping give cancer patients an extra boost. Take a look at these gift bags designed to make treatment just a little bit easier for cancer patients. Construction company J.E. Dunn dropped them off at the University of Kansas Cancer Center over in Westwood. Inside are things like stuffed animals, water bottles, and gift cards for meditation classes. For one employee at J.E. Dunn, though, these bags mean way more to her.
It's a personal journey for me to be able to donate these care packages. My husband was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer in 2020. And when we received our care package, it was like, it didn't change anything for our diagnosis, but it supported us and it made us feel loved and welcome. And to be able to give that to anyone else just warms my heart.
And we thank them. Also in the bags, handwritten notes and blankets. J.E. Dunn donated 20 care gift bags after raising $10,000 in donations. Well, cutting costs may mean cutting the turkey from your holiday menu. The USDA reports the price of turkey breast meat is now $6.50 a pound, up $4 from 2020. Economists blame the price increase in bird flu cases across the country. They say it has reduced the commercial turkey flock by about 6 million birds. Other choices, of course, on Turkey Day: beef, chicken, even meatless alternatives. I mean, who doesn't love meatless turkey? Sounds delicious, right? No.
Subscribe to our morning medical update and open mics with Dr. Stites podcasts. Now, everywhere podcasts are available.